Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. As Russia intensifies attacks on Ukrainian cities like Zaporizhzhia and Dnipropetrovsk, and with Donald Trump now cutting his proposed peace deadline to just 10 to 12 days, tensions in the Ukraine war have hit a critical point. Joining us is Rostyslav Khotin. He's a senior editor at the Ukrainian service of Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. We'll unpack the current state of the battlefield, assess political developments, and explore how Ukraine and its allies are reacting to this latest diplomatic pressure. Rostislav, welcome back to TVP World. Thanks for taking the time.
Hello, thank you.
Okay, so let's start with the military battlefield before we get to the political one. What's going on? I mean, there have been there's been a missile strike on a prison, killing 17, injuring 42, as well as strikes in Zaporizhzhia. Are strikes intensifying? How is the Ukrainian military responding?
Yeah, over the last 24 hours, on the very day when President Trump reduced the timing of his deadline for President Putin to accept ceasefire, Russia killed 22 people in Ukraine within one day and one night. 17 prisoners were killed when prison was hit by Russian missile in Zaporizhzhia region. It's actually Zaporizhzhia district of Zaporizhzhia region, not far from the regional center of the city of Zaporizhzhia. And more than 3 dozen inmates were wounded, some of them seriously. Also, Russia targeted the special medical facility and killed the pregnant woman, and several others were wounded. Several young mothers escaped, alive. Miracle. It was a miracle. Others regions of Ukraine were targeted, especially in the south. The right bank of Dnieper River near Kherson and the very city of Kherson has been targeted by guided bombs constantly. Russia uses drones. Ukrainian experts say that Russia even uses the northwestern city of Sumy and Sumy region of Ukraine as a testing ground for its newly developed, newly designed drones, kind of similar to Iranian designed Shahed drones. So Russia is developing new weapons, new drones, and uses Ukraine as a testing ground for it. So the situation is extremely difficult. People are tired, of course, but Ukrainian military is boosted by American and Western weapon supplies, and Patriots are on the way to Ukraine. So people got used to it. It's a daily life in Ukraine now.
I mean, it's very difficult to understand how, of course, people get used to constant bombing, but I suppose after a while you have no choice but to get acclimatized. Have you noticed any increase or decrease in the rate of Russian attacks, and are they changing their targets? I mean, prisons, hospitals, I mean, they've been pretty consistent. Are they hitting military targets at all?
Some of them, yes, but mostly civilian targets and in critical infrastructure like hospitals and other facilities which are hit by Russian guided bombs, drones, and missiles. The intensity remains more or less the same. It's like 100 up to 100 plus drones and missiles combined. I watched a TV report from Odessa region, from the beautiful city of Odessa on the Black Sea, and people there go to the beaches. It's hot summer in Ukraine, especially in the south. It's the very hot period of the year. And one of the swimmers, a lady of mid-age, said that, we have Monaco during daytime and Afghanistan during nighttime. People got used to it. If one can got used to it, of course. But nevertheless, people are staying strong, and the spirit is unbreakable.
Well, tell us, I mean, zooming out now, an overview of the situation at the front lines. In other words, is Russia making any strategic gains? Is Ukraine making any strategic gains?
No strategic gains for both sides. Russia is trying again in eastern Ukraine, and also has sites on right bank of Dnieper River in the south. But Ukrainians recently liberated one or two settlements in the occupied part of Sumy region in the northeast or northeast of Ukraine. So it's just tiring for both sides. It's a war of attrition. No strategic gains neither for Russia nor for Ukraine, and but civilians are hit strongly by Russian side. That's why President Trump is so much frustrated now with Putin's actions in Ukraine, that he targets civilian targets, civilian aims, and civilian infrastructure, killing lots of people for nothing, just for nothing. Targeting ordinary, average civilian targets like hospitals, other prisons, energy infrastructure again, but not strategic gains for Russia on the battlefield.
Right. Well, you mentioned President Trump, and I'd like to move on to him now. I mean, he has diverted quite a lot from his tone towards Putin. When he, in the earlier days of his presidency, when he believed that he could negotiate a peace deal with Putin. He seems to have changed his mind based on the evidence that Putin has provided. How has this statement by Trump been received by the Ukrainian government?
Very well received by the Ukrainian government. And the Ukrainian leadership welcomes this Trump's statement, this decision. Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha said that he welcomed very much and said it's a strong statement, and more sanctions needed from the West, more pressure on Russia needed from the West, from Ukrainian allies, and from the United States of America. Also, Ukrainians noticed now Ukrainians count days now, because the new deadline set up by President Trump, 12 days, falls on the 8th and 10th of August, not the beginning of September as previous 50-day deadline fell. So now it's like beginning of August. We'll see what happened, but Ukrainians think President Trump is moving in the right direction. They welcome this. They think that more pressure on Russia needed, especially economic pressure, and more weapons should be supplied to Ukraine. So generally speaking, now there is a lot of expectations after President Trump generally over the last months has changed his stance on Ukrainian war, shifting rather towards Ukrainian side, because before for several months he was trying to be kind of impartial mediator. I am kind of equally distanced from Moscow, equally distanced from Kiev. Not anymore. He sees that Putin is deceiving him, that Putin is not serious about peace, that Putin is not serious about ceasefire. President Trump now is saying that he doesn't want a new phone call with Putin. It's again shift from his previous stance, because he was eager to have a phone conversation with Putin. The reason why he shifted this deadline, establishing new deadline for the 6th, 8th of August, is that nothing will change. President Trump said nothing will change, he says. So that he doesn't believe that Putin will change his mind whether it's 10-day or 50-day deadline. So there was a shift. He gave him from 10 to 12 days. We'll see what happens next.
Well, I mean, as you said, Trump has said that, he wanted Putin to come to the negotiating table He clearly is showing no signs of doing this. How seriously is this going down in Russia? I mean, are they taking it seriously? Are they taking Trump's statement seriously? Does it matter to them whether it's 50 days or 12 days?
Presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin spokesman, he said something along the line that, yeah, we've taken notice of it. We've noticed the statement. We'll see. We are devoted to the peace process. We'll see how it goes. Our interests should be taken into account as well. Something like that. Dmitry Medvedev, deputy head of Russian Security Council, former president of Russian Federation, he said something like, this latest Trump statement will lead to the direct war between the United States and Russia. He is kind of Medvedev is seen as a hawkish in the Kremlin administration. But President Putin so far kept silence. There was no reaction from Putin himself. We'll see. But this latest deadline set by President Trump has been noticed by Moscow and taken into account. We'll see. And also Trump is frustrated. There was one more, the third round of talks recently, Ukrainian-Russian talks in Istanbul, in Turkey. Again, there was talks. There was a first round in May, second in June, the third in July, and nothing is changing except for humanitarian issues. The prisoners exchange, nothing concrete, nothing material come out of these talks between Ukrainian and Russian delegation, in terms of ceasefire, in terms of peace. And Ukraine is ready for ceasefire. It's been already stated several times that Ukrainians are ready for ceasefire. And now Ukrainians also proposes a summit between Zelensky and Putin, and Russia is not accepting it.
Yes, well, as you say, it doesn't seem to be much change in Putin's stance towards peace talks or negotiations or a ceasefire, come to that. So it looks likely that secondary sanctions are going to be imposed on Russia. The challenge, of course, will be enforcing them. Rostislav, thank you very much, as always, for coming along and sharing your analysis with our audience. Have a good evening, sir, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That's all from this episode of World Talks. Goodbye.